Happy Halloween, everybody. This video, we're going to talk about the top 10 spookiest cards of 1999 OCG Yu-Gi-Oh! So number 10, we have Bone Mouse. This is a mouse that has returned as a zombie to seek revenge on cats. Now, this card is kind of spooky. It's a dead mouse, basically. I mean, it's certainly not alive. And if you look at the front, you wouldn't really notice it. I mean, aside from it probably smelling like shit. But if you just look at its back, well, you got a nice spine. Yeah, this is a mouse with a backbone. You don't want to mess with this mouse. I mean, of course, it only has 400 attack and 300 defense, so it's not going to beat over an Aquamador any of these days. But in terms of a spooky zombie rat, you know, this does the trick, I would think. The neat thing about this one is that it features a lot of it in the card Attack of the Corner Rat, so, you know, that's kind of interesting. Konami clearly didn't forget about this monster, but, you know, I think it's spooky enough to kick this list off. For number 9, we have the Wandering Doom. This card may look kind of familiar. Yeah, it's the original Skull Servant. It's Skull Servant's daddy. Dad of the Skull Servants, you could say. This is a monster that wanders the edges of the netherworld. Very spooky. Not a level 1, which doesn't make it as good as Skull Servant. I really like its art comparatively to Skull Servant. I don't know, it's something about it. Maybe it's like the outlines of it. It looks a little bit more Japanese kind of art. Almost kind of Yugioh. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Ukiyo-e. Ukio! Rufio! Yeah, Wandering Doom is kind of fun. It is a stronger Skull Servant. That's weird that they would create a weaker one. That's the one we got. We can get the stronger one. It'd be kind of cool if they incorporated this one. Maybe the Wandering Skull Servant. But it is the original Skull Servant. And it's spooky, because it's a skeleton. I mean, you can't get any more spooky than that. Bone Mouse was just the back, but this is at least the skull and the arms. So we're getting closer. We're getting closer. For number 8, we have Wood Remains. This is a living corpse of wood, reanimated by the power of darkness. 1,000 attack, 900 defense. You know, it's okay. It's okay, your stats for a 3-star monster, but I mean, just kind of look at it. The Wandering Doomed, yeah, it was a spooky ghost, but this is a skull coming out of wood with feet. That's kind of inherently creepy, don't you think? It has this giant grin, this giant mouth with all these teeth, like it's gonna chomp on you. Are the teeth made of bone? Are they made of wood? It is wood remains, so it's like the ghost of a tree. I guess someone chopped it down and it, like maybe it's a soul that was sucked into the tree. It's very possible. We see the red background, so it's possible this was a tree that was caught perhaps in a forest fire. Maybe that's how the tree was killed. It was just a burned tree, and the burn created those legs and the skull look of it. It is reanimated by the power of darkness, so I don't know if it was necessarily because it wanted to, or is just purely revenge. It is a living corpse of wood. That is some flavored text if I have ever heard any. It kind of ups the idea of the card a little bit more than the Wandering Doomed. And that's what I really like about Wood Remains. So it definitely remains to be number 8. For number 7, we actually have a tie. So here we have Rover. That's a weird name. Kind of sounds like a type of dog, a Rover. Oh, what's your kind of dog? Oh, I got a Rover. Almost kind of sounds like a car. What kind of car are you driving? I'm driving a Rover. Yeah, it's a weird name. This is a water monster. This ugly monster emits a highly poisonous gas. This thing is just disgusting looking. It's like Hedora a little bit, or Muck from Pokemon. Ooze with 5 eyes? They're either eyes or they're like Dippin' Dots or something. I don't know. It's something kind of creepy about it. Just all that oozy, and like the background is kind of realistic almost. It's a weird, trippy background and just this blob. It's ugly. It's a poisonous, and you kind of get that feeling from it. That's why I really like it. With the other card, we have the Fiends Hand. There are arms that reach out from the swamp of chaos to drag down the damned. I wonder if he's a servant of King of the Swamp. I don't know. I do like this card a little bit more than the Rover. The Rover is kind of creepy looking. But with Fiend's Hand, it's the same kind of idea of this sludgy kind of thing. Now, it isn't the swamp itself, it's arms. I don't know if they don't, I guess they don't have a body, but they're just these 3 arms. Like, it's not even 2, it's 3. So is this a 3-armed being? Did they all just connect down to one little nub? Are there more arms? It's hard to say. They have purple fingernails, so they're definitely really deep in that ooze. And it's kind of creepy, just these arms kind of coming out, and they're almost like they're dead. They're just stuck. You know, they have what's the word? But yeah, they're just frozen from their dead state. Like it's almost, you look at this and you're like, oh, the swamps, that's the thing. But no, it's the hands. You get near it and it just pulls you under. I think just like the kind of gross, deathly sludge theme kind of helps move this list in, like, this is deadly territory, which I think gives it the edge over something like Wood Remains, where it's like, all right, it's kind of spooky, but where's the real danger come from? I think Fiends Hand and the Rover have that danger aspect. This next card may look kind of familiar. It's Twin Long Rods for number 6. This is the number 1. In the TCG, we actually got number 2. But number 1 is a little bit different. I think what's different about it are 2 things. One, the color. It's green instead of like that, it was like a blue purpley color. And the angle of it is way different. Its mouth is closed. With number 2, its mouth was open. It was facing towards the camera. But this one, you get more of a look at it, and it's kind of scary looking. It's a little bit unnerving, because with whip-like arms, this creature can attack enemies from a distance. It's not a... Whip-like arms aren't very long, but I guess it's long enough considering its body is just a... looks like that from that minigame from Mario Party 2. Was it just called Bouncy Balls? I don't know. You might know. Big bulging eyes from the side of its head, this giant humanoid mouth, these big fat lips. It's definitely unnerving compared to the other ones. The other ones, you had to use a bit more imagination, a little bit more creativity. But with Twin Long Rods number 1, it's this one you look at and go, I would not want to see that in the dark. Or really in the light. I wouldn't want to see that anywhere because it would scare the shit out of me. For number 5, we have One Who Hunts Souls. It's kind of a longer name, but this card from Booster 2 is a Beast Warrior, so it's not quite as dark or watery as the other ones. This is a little bit different, but this is a dangerous creature that brandishes a soul-sucking sword. This guy sucks. It is a chimera-like creature with like horse feet and then like a sea serpent tail and a humanoid. It's like a centaur, but its face isn't even there. It has a neck, but it just stops at the spiked collar. Its head, it's like a blue head too. It's not even a human head or a horse head or any sort of animal. Coming out of the chest with this big golden yellow cleaver sword. What the fuck is this? Twin Long Rods, you're like, what the fuck is that? But this is, what the fuck is this? This is way more out there and just... it perplexes me. This has a lot of weird, unnerving things compared to Twin Long Rods number 1, where it was just... basically its mouth, but this one has like the whole body going for it. It's like, yeah, that thing is it's kind of messed up. Like, it steals souls, and does it add to its chimera-like body? Maybe, but like the soul is the one that does the sucking here. I should stop saying sucking so much, but here we are. Anyway, let's just move on. This is another weird card, and this fits for the number 4 spot. This is Mad Jin Gun. So it's translate roughly to like angry demon gun, pew pew, pow pow. It's a living weapon that spits projectiles, so it definitely fits that gun theme. But again, what the fuck is this? I don't even know what to describe that. It's certainly a fiend. It's certainly a dark monster for sure. It has 2 eyes, and it walks like Sebulba with its hands, and it has all these fangs coming out of its mouth, and these tubes, these red tubes, and its back forms into 3 serpents. This is like nightmare fuel right now. While one who hunts souls is like, what is this? This is really weird. This is definitely like demonic territory. We're getting down deep into Dante's Inferno. Now this is something that's scary. All right, now we got the top 3, and these are where it gets really good. This is Gate Deeg. This weird monster, has a portal in its belly that brings reinforcements from the farthest reaches of the netherworld. This card, you know, it's spooky when it actually got another recolored version, as some cards on this list has, you know, Twin Long Rods and Wandering Doomed. But this one, it definitely made more of a difference because the new version didn't show all the things in its belly, and it's just like opening up like, I ate a baby. It's the other white meat. Like, the reinforcements, are they part of it, or is it something that he ate that they're trying to get out? Its skin looks like Monstro from Kingdom Hearts, and it's just the way it's angled upwards make this guy look really big. And these things are really trying to get out, and it's definitely something you'd see out of, I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser maybe. It's definitely getting up there, and a lot of people probably could put this in the number 1 spot, but I think the other 2 edge this weird monster out, because while it does definitely up the ante in body horror, we got some good ones coming. Okay, for number 2, what the heck is this? It is Caterpillar, not Caterpillar, Caterpillar. It's not Caterpie, it's not Caterpillar, it's Caterpillar. It attacks enemies by spitting thin, sticky webs. It doesn't even like dissolve or anything, but like, that's not the point. Look at this thing. It's a caterpillar with like a baby head. Is this Mayuri's Bankai? Like, what is this? It's a very weak monster, but like, it's so different from all the other caterpillars in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Petite Moth, Larva Moth, even some of the other OCG caterpillar cards. This one is like, it's the head that makes it. And there's other cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That have this kind of baby kind of look. Like, you have cards like, you know, Malstall Demise. It's a spooky doll. But this is a baby's head on a caterpillar. Those are recipes for something spooky. A little creepy monster baby and an insect. That's scary. Like, how isn't this a dark type? It's just an earth insect. People may look at this and just like, oh, that's just a bug that's around here. But no, it's a freaking baby head on a caterpillar. What's the deal? Is it a baby? Is it a caterpillar? I don't know why I'm doing this Jerry Seinfeld impression. If stuff from before is nightmare fuel, it's fueling this. It's fueling this nightmare right here. For number 1, we have Majira's Light. The fatal beams from the eyes of this monster result in grim destruction. Holy crap. This card just blows the rest out of the water. Just like, look at this art. It is incredible. It is super spooky. It has like all these weird flames. It doesn't have a mouth, like it doesn't have like lips or anything. It's just like the insides of its mouth with these piercing blue eyes, this razor sharp head. And I think it's a mask actually, because there's like a shadowy figure behind it. It has these floating just beast-like claws. It has a snake. Wherever it's coming from, it's around it with it holding a scythe. Like, this is spooky card design. Like, if other ones had aspects of spookiness in varying degrees, whether it was like campy or just WTF or like body horror, like this is like everything kind of wrapped in one. The only thing I kind of wish it had was like a bone somewhere, but I guess that would kind of make it a little bit more campy. Like this one is just like it pierces in your soul. The colors of the flames really make it stick out. It's something really unearthly, unworldly about it. It has so many aspects going from it, from like original design. Because while Caterpillar was like really creepy, it's like, okay, you know, we've seen babies, we've seen insects, you know, all this kind of stuff. And Deeg, like it's a monster, it's a fiend. This one, like, it's really out there. Like, what is this? Not like any other design you've seen, and you can look at different parts and just kind of stare at it for a while, just admiring the creepiness of it. Like, they didn't have to not give it lips. They didn't have to make its head made of razor blades or like the snake. They could have just had like a weird masked thing with a scythe. But they definitely went out of their way to make this like spooky, and that's also something I like about classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Is they definitely weren't afraid to get more to the spooky, mythological, I guess, I don't know if that's the right term, kind of territory, instead of the cyber stuff they do. It shoots beams from its eyes. Like, it has a scythe, but it doesn't even like need to use that. It shoots freaking laser beams, and it's got a scythe. Multiple paths of destruction. I look at this, I'm like, yeah, that's number one.